Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Cole Altman, and today we are back on Fantasyland. It is a Saturday night preparing for Sunday football, and I'll be sharing with you some Week 7 insights from me. All right, so let's start with quarterbacks. Justin Herbert, really plus matchup against the Seahawks this week. Bad defense, both teams have good offenses. Really has the makings of a shootout. Expect a 25 to 30 point game from Herbert. I mean, he could have a huge day, tons of yardage. Either Mike Williams or Keenan Allen likely to be the beneficiaries. And if Keenan Allen does not play, Mike Williams seriously could go for. I wouldn't expect this, but he could go for 30 points. So huge night coming from Herbert. Aaron Rodgers' breakout is imminent. If you can buy him low, go do it now. Pretty easy schedule over the next few weeks. Rumors of DJ Moore going there. Romeo Dubes evolving. Even though Randall Cobb is out and Christian Watson's out, you could see some evolving, more touchdowns. Tanyan's really showing that he can draw a heavy target share. So pick up Rodgers in any 12-person one quarterback leagues and try and trade for him if you're starting more than one quarterback. This week I'm sitting Jared Goff, Ryan Tannehill, and Marcus Mariota. They're all back end QB2s this week. Jared Goff playing a Dallas defense that has been insane. Ryan Tannehill playing a tough Indy defense, and Marcus Mariota playing Cincinnati. All three defenses have been dominant the past few weeks, and I am not starting any three of them. On to wide receivers. Mike Evans. It's buy now time on Mike Evans. Mike Evans is He's proven to be a stud wide receiver week in and week out. He's had a few rough weeks now with Chris Godwin getting more targets than him the last 2 weeks. The touchdowns are coming with an easier schedule coming up. Tom Brady likely to bounce back. More touchdowns for the squad. It's buy now time on Godwin and Evans. DeAndre Hopkins, huge performance his first night back after 6 weeks of a suspension. 20.3 fantasy points, 10 for 103. I mean, D Hop's a monster. We've seen talent from him before, and apparently people forgot about it. So he's back to being a top 15 guy, and honestly has the upside to be top 7, top 8. He's just a monster, and the touchdowns will come. Metcalf, bound to have a huge week this week. I love DK Metcalf. I think he's going to be tremendous this week against a bad defense in the Chargers, especially with no J.C. Jackson. DK Metcalf, low end wide receiver 1 to mid range wide receiver 1 this week. I'm thinking 16 to 18 points, but he always has the upside to boom. He always has had that upside. He's such a great wide receiver. Keenan Allen, this Chargers Seahawks matchup I'm really excited for because I think there's going to be a lot of scoring. Keenan Allen remains a must start no matter his health. I think that he comes in, he's going to get his targets. He averages 9 to 10 targets every game he plays. He'll get his 6 receptions, 7 receptions for 70, 80 yards, maybe a touchdown. So hopefully he's a lock for 14 to 15 points on his first week back from a tough injury. And he always has that touchdown upside. It may be smart to sit Courtland Sutton this week. And the reason I say that is because they're going to... Courtland Sutton is going to be... I'm trying to find a way to say this. Courtland Sutton isn't going to garner as many targets with a backup quarterback. They're going to be fixing in on the top receiver because they know they're not going to be able to throw downfield as much, and Jerry Jeudy could get the crossing routes. I'm seeing possibility from a nice game from Jerry Jeudy, and Courtland Sutton may not be a strong start this week. Deebo Samuel owners should hold on to him for now. I'm not saying sell him. I'm not saying buy him. I'm not saying either one. I'm saying hold on to him because he could keep what he's doing or he could drop down quite a bit with Christian McCaffrey being acquired for a couple draft picks. So I wouldn't say get rid of him. I wouldn't say buy him. I'd say hold on to him because it could go either way. On to running backs, Josh Jacobs and Breece Hall. I'm huge fans of both. I think they both have paths to be top 5 running backs by the end of the year. I think Breece Hall is more likely to be one. Jacobs has shown so much more usage than he has in the past couple years than he has before. On the field for 81% of snaps, garnering a 37% touch share. So we're seeing a huge increase in uptick in his production and volume. So he could reach there, and Brees Hall is just a monster. I mean, the sky's the limit for that guy. New York, the Jets playing well. Expect huge things this year and the years to come. The sell high window on Ramondre Stevenson's closing fast. Damien Harris returning. No signals say that Harris won't continue to take some carries and a few targets away from Ramondre. When Damien Harris is out, Ramondre is a top RB1. But with Damien Harris playing, maybe an RB2, I guess. I don't love his upside. It kind of caps his upside. But both guys aren't super strong plays when they're both healthy. Ken Walker, Najee Harris, and Ezekiel Elliott, all strong buy low candidates. Ken Walker isn't really buying low, but it's a buy now. You're going to want to get your hands. You want to have that guy on your team. Najee Harris, he has the talent. His efficiency's been down. His volume's been down, but it was nice to see him get in the end zone last week. Hopefully, I'm betting on Pittsburgh turning it around a little bit with Pickett. So hopefully he can jump back into high-end RB2 range by the end of the season. And Ezekiel Elliott showing a little promise the past few weeks, and he could evolve into something's playable. Clyde Edwards-Helaire and David Montgomery, they are not startable this week. Helaire playing a strong Niners defense, and Montgomery playing a Pats defense who really does not let up big fantasy points to any player except the superstars. So Helaire, low end flex. Montgomery, I don't even think is playable this week. Sit them both. All right, lastly, tight ends. Zach Ertz, his production was insane when Marquise Brown was healthy and D-Hop was still suspended. He was tight end 3 through 6 weeks. It's going to slow down. D-Hop is going to garner those vertical targets a little bit more. Ertz, instead of being a 13 to 15 point tight end, he'll probably drop down to Gerald Everett range, Taysom Hill range of 9 to 11 points a game. Kittle, Waller, Schultz, all strong buy low candidates. Schultz has shown promise when Dak is healthy. He was a monster last year. Kittle is a monster who has 40 to 45 point ceiling. And Waller's my least excited person out of all this group, but he's a super talented. He's a wide receiver in a tight end's body. He's a special guy, and he could really improve as the season goes on. Taysom Hill is becoming a very legit starter. He's averaging 11 points a game now. He is an absolute monster. He gets the receptions. He gets the carries. He is used in so many different ways. He's scratching tight end 1 range now. And lastly, Greg Dulcich, really showing. He scored last week on a 39-yard catch. Must add if you have an open roster spot. I wouldn't go cutting big guys for him. But if you have a room, he could evolve to be a low-end tight end 1 later in the season. I'm not saying it'll happen, but it's possible. That was Rapid Fire, guys. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining me on Fantasyland. I'll see you next time.